I want to talk about something that I think gets really misunderstood when it comes to manifesting, especially when you are somebody that has been in this world for a while. You've read the self-help books, you've read the manifesting books, you've taken courses, you've done all the work, right? And you're still not seeing results. When I say you've done the things, it's like trying to think positive or visualize or act as if or, you know, doing affirmations and it just like all of the shit that we're told to do in order to manifest. It gets to a point where it's not working or it works for a little while, but you're ready to go bigger or receive more. It can kind of feel like there's something missing. It doesn't necessarily feel like you're doing something wrong because you're like, I'm doing everything that I've been told to do, but I'm still not seeing the results that I want. So it's just not working. And, for me, when I was in this place, it felt very much like, what is wrong with me? Like, what am I missing? What is this barrier, this unseen barrier my blind spot, right? That's the word that I just couldn't figure it out, right? And I see this time and time and time again with the people that I work with. And it's because there's a missing piece that unless you know and can embody and not just intellectualize, but actually fully feel and sense the shift, it just won't land for you in the way that it seems like it does for other people. So that the reason that it's not working in a more simplified term is you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. That's not to say, like, because the visual that I just got was like, oh, well, I'm not the person that receives good things, or I don't have good luck, or I hear people say, the only luck I have is bad luck, right? And like that is who you are being, right? That is who you are showing up as for yourself internally day after day. That's who you believe yourself to be. It's not that it's a difficult concept, but it can feel difficult because if you're like me, I used to really, and I mean, I still do this, but the people that come to work with me genuinely or generally are people that intellectualize and they don't feel into their body. And so you can, in your mind, you can intellectually understand these concepts, but until you're able to embody, like actually be a new version of yourself, the manifestation just isn't going to happen the way that it could. The example of this is if you say that you want money or you want more money, who are you being, right? If you're constantly checking your account, if you're constantly like doing the math, worrying, bracing, that's not just something that you're doing, that's who you're being in the moment. And this is something that my clients typically struggle with a lot because it's like, okay, but those are the things that I've done to get to where I'm at now, and you just want me to abandon them. And it's like kind of and yeah, I mean, it's not. It can be an overnight shift, but it's generally not. And this is where I think a lot of like the nervous system regulation work helps because it doesn't, it's not that it doesn't, it's oftentimes it doesn't feel safe to shift into, I don't have to be constantly scanning. I don't have to be constantly, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I don't have to constantly be on the lookout for an unexpected bill or did I do the math wrong? And it's not to say that you don't budget. It's not to say that you don't, do these things, but it's how you are doing it, why you are doing it, the felt sensations in your body, like what is driving you to do it. And if you are the type of person that generally comes to me, it's like you have to do those things in order to feel like you can survive. And that is the shift that needs to happen first, where it's like feeling safe in your body around money, knowing that you are always safe, knowing that you are always provided for, knowing that you can like I'm just getting this visual of like driving. And they say like when you're driving, you should like don't do distracted driving. And that's kind of like what you're doing. You're like constantly like white knuckling driving and you're like scanning. And it's like You would actually be a safer driver if you would just fucking relax and like that's not like, watching TikToks on your phone while you're driving, but it's like chill the fuck out, like breathe, relax. And listen, if you said this to me a few years ago, I would have been furious. Like I get it, but also now having shifted this and now having seen many clients shift this, when you can regulate and learn to feel safe internally and to trust yourself in a new way, all of this fucking shifts. It just shifts so quick. And, I'm just like laughing because I'm thinking about previous versions of me where it was like I would be so pissed if you said this to me like 10 years ago. No, no. But it's true. Like it's so true. And this is where like manifestation becomes effortless. This is where receiving more and more actually feels good and sustainable. That's what the ultimate goal actually is. Who are you being in the moment? It's not just what you do, it's who you are when you are doing. Okay? That's an identity. So like what identity, what version of you are you being? If you are being the version of you that never has enough or doesn't have enough or expects that you won't have enough, that's what gets reflected back to you because that is, and like in a simpler way, it's like that's what you're expecting, so that's what you're looking out for, so that's what shows up. It's painful to try to manifest from that place. And so here's the thing, it's not about pretending, it's not about like acting as if, it is being as if. It might feel a bit delusional in the beginning, but if you can just open the door or open your mind to like seeing things differently, 1% differently. When I am feeling like I can't shift, like I just can't do it. I can't see myself as somebody that has more money, or if I can't see myself as whatever it is, I will say, I am willing to see this differently. I am willing to be surprised. I am willing to be delighted, and I am willing to see what happens. And like that can be just enough to where 5 minutes later, I'm like shifted completely into the version of me that has everything that I want, because truly I do. The whole point of all of this is noticing throughout your day, who am I being right now? Especially if you feel yourself worrying or trying to control, focusing what is happening outside of you, like and then shifting internally and being like, oh, fuck, I'm bracing. When I was first told, Ashley, you're bracing, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? And it's like, yeah. Every single muscle in my body is tight because I am terrified. Why am I terrified? Because my nervous system thinks that I'm being chased by a fucking bear, right? And it's like, I'm just worried about this bill, or I'm worried about doing my taxes, or I'm worried. And it's like, first of all, that is no way to live your life. Second of all, good things can't really come through when you're bracing. And it's not to say that they don't. Yes, of course, good things can happen, but you're not going to receive them in the same way. And you're not going to see opportunities, and you're not going to be able to see your circumstances change, because it's like what they're showing me now is like having different like lenses, right? And it's like if you have like sunglasses when you're inside at night, you're not going to be able to fucking see. And that's where being in the identity of somebody that is always expecting a bright light to turn on, and you know that it's like gonna startle you. So you always wear your sunglasses inside, which I know this is ridiculous, but stay with me. It's like you're also then dulling your experience in the world every other moment that there's not a bright light on you, right? And it's like, yeah, but if that light comes on, it's gonna startle me, or it's gonna, give me a headache. First of all, that's no way to live your life. Second of all, if you would just take the fucking sunglasses off and trust yourself that if the light does come on, you could put the sunglasses back on. And the more that you do this, the more that you practice this, the easier and easier and more natural it becomes. And it's like they're showing like it's like you take the sunglasses off and it might take you a minute for your eyes to adjust, but your eyes will adjust to not having those dark lenses on. Okay. I'm just it never ceases to amaze me the examples that I get. And I'm like, where did that come from? So who am I being right now? Am I being the version of me that I actually want to be? The one that trusts, the one that receives, the one that can exhale and can lean back and receive in a way that actually feels good? Or am I bracing and worrying about the next bill, worrying about the next problem that I'm going to have to solve? Being somebody that feels safe in the moment, who trusts myself, who isn't constantly scanning for what's missing, right? Because those two different versions of you create different realities. They create different identities, which then create different realities. You can't create a life of overflow from an identity that is continuously and constantly bracing for scarcity. Like it just doesn't fucking work. You're not doing something wrong. It just gets to be better. You get to shift from calibrating to expect lack into being the version of you that always has more than enough. Always has more than enough with less they're like save pain with less effort. Because here's the thing, if you're constantly in the identity of not having enough, when things start do coming your way, you'll push them away, you'll not hold on to them, you'll go right back to fear, or you'll have the fear playing so that you won't even want to receive more, right? So an example of this is like, I had a client, actually I've had a few clients like this where it's like, if I receive more, people are going to expect more from me. Family, friends, people will look at me like I'm a bad person, all these things. And it's like, okay, so you're operating from the identity of somebody that gets used. You are operating from the identity of somebody that isn't safe to have more, right? And it's like, what thoughts are you thinking? What feelings are you feeling in your body? And if you can't answer that, that's your first step in this. That's the first place to go because even if you don't know, you can spend 5 minutes a day like slowing down, breathing, feeling good in your body because that will have effects, like long-lasting effects that you can't even imagine coming. So the shift isn't how do I get more? It is who am I being right now and who do I actually want to be? Not judging yourself, not, beating yourself up for, oh, I was focusing too much on the external world. No, just notice. Start to have an awareness of your thoughts. Start to have an awareness of the way that you're viewing the people and circumstances around you, right? Like, for example, right now, it's like, there's a lot of on social media, there's a lot of people that are like, the world's ending, which, I'm guilty of saying that in a joking way. And I'm like, fuck, I need to stop doing that. But it's like the thoughts that you are thinking continuously you can change, right? Like you can change that. And like I caught myself just there being like, fuck, I've been thinking that a lot. Like, of course, that's going to start being reflected in me. I'm going to have, some not great things start to happen because I'm taking on the identity of somebody that has shit things happen, right? And it's like, okay, who do I want to be? I want to be the person who lives in a world that is safe, that is equal, that is not full of, and this isn't exactly like the way that I would do this in practice, but I don't want to live in a world that's full of senseless wars and all the bullshit. So stop feeding that on a micro level, right? Like stop feeding that into my system continuously, even though I'm just like joking about it. Not that it's a joke, but like, you know what I mean? Shifting it in the moment. Like, fuck, I'm doing this. How do I shift it? Okay, well, it's actually not funny. Okay. It's not gonna be funny when my luck changes, right? So how do I shift this? How do I shift this? Well, in this moment, I am safe. That's how I always begin. Like, I'm safe. It is safe. I'm always taken care of. I'm provided for. Life is abundant and fun and joyous and peaceful. And everything always works out for the best, right? And just being in that. And that doesn't mean that now everything's going to be amazing. It's like, okay, in this moment, I am choosing to be the version of me that is calm and trusts myself and trusts, I'm just thinking how to say this in a way that feels true. I trust that everything always works out. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Because I don't want to be the version of me that is continuously and chronically stressed. I don't want to be that version of me that has to fight and prove myself. I don't want to be the version of me that has to experience lack in order to be a good person. I don't want that. So I shift continuously, continuously, continuously. And the outer world shifts because it fucking has to. It has to. So, if this is something that resonates with you, I'd love to hear your questions in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.